You often, according to a report done by Pew Research Center, 95% of teenagers have access to a cell phone. Now, this is a big issue. That is because nowadays, when you show up to a family function or even a big event, you often see children stuck scrolling endlessly on their cell phones, going through social media platforms such as TikTok, YouTube Reels, or even Instagram Reels. This is a big problem because back in the day, a lot of these kids would be interacting with one another, playing hide and go seek, or playing with toys, or even just playing games per usual. But nowadays, you just see children interacting with their cell phones more than they interact with their own family members, which is a big issue. That is why it is a responsibility as you, as a parent, to restrict these children from these harmful and addicting platforms and help lead your children to success. That is why I am here today as a college student who spent hours studying the negative effects social media platforms can have on your children and help give solutions to lead you as a parent to get rid of these addictions or even get rid of this problem overall. Let us begin with the negative effects social media can have on your children's mind. According to U.S. surgeon Jojo Vivek, Murphy shows study that social media presents a profound risk for mental health in teens and adolescents exposed to harmful content such as drug, violence, and even pornography. Nowadays, a 12-year-old could be on Instagram and could fake their identity. Often teenagers fake their identity by claiming to be 18 years old when they are truly younger than that, meaning they are exposed to more harmful content such as drugs, violence, or like I said, pornography. This could be a big issue because as children, they should not be exposed to this content, yet social media platforms don't make it too hard to access this sort of content. All you have to do is just claim that you're a certain age, and that's it. Social media platforms should really focus on developing their form of proving that you're that age to help limit this form of content to young children. Additionally, according to Dr. Murphy, children under the age of 13 should not have access to social media platforms. This is because, according to the National Library of Medicine, shows that social media platforms can be highly addictive. Now, we know that a lot of teenagers nowadays, we know that children, during those early years, a lot of people are developing their brains, and the brain doesn't stop developing until the age of 21. That is why things like social media, drugs, and stuff like that are dangerous because it could affect how your brain develops, and also it's easier to get addicted to a social media platform or a drug just because your brain is developing as you're more harmful to that sort of content or drug use. That is why we recommend that even after the point of 13, that there should be restrictions to social media platforms as it could be really harmful and addictive for children. It is seen nowadays, such as an example, my brother, who every time I go to my house, he's always on the couch, laying down on his phone, scrolling endlessly. When I go to talk to him, he's really shy and is really timid and doesn't really like human interaction because he'd rather just be living in a virtual world that's really unrealistic and sets unrealistic standards for children. That is why, as parents, you should be leading your child to realistic solutions and make them interact with other people and not live on the virtual world but live in person. Now, with that being said, I would like to move on to the solutions to this problem. Again, according to Dr. Murphy, he claims that a lot of parents should overall just not give access to their children to these social media platforms. The problem wouldn't exist if they wouldn't have access to these social media platforms. A lot of parents give cell phones to children due to shootings or just safety concerns, but often don't know the apps that these children are installing, or even restrict these children from social media platforms, meaning they give free liberty to the internet, to their children, of the harmful content that could be out there. Now, without a cell phone, children would not be exposed to this harmful content, and they would actually be able to live freely in a world, in an actual peaceful world, not being exposed to harmful content. Additionally, let's say you're a parent that is is really afraid, wants their children to have cell phones. Okay, fine, perfectly fine. But another solution could be restricting the time they spend on social media platforms. A lot of social media platforms have parent control settings that a parent could easily install a 30-minute timer that gives their children 30 minutes to spend on social media platforms. According to Dr. Murphy, he recommends that children above the age of 13 should only spend 30 minutes on social media platforms and no more than that, because it really does limit the harmful content they could be exposed to. Additionally, like I stated earlier, social media platforms could make it harder for children to fake their identity and actually prove that they're 18, limiting them from seeing drugs, violence, as these restrictions already exist. However, by faking your identity, you could easily get access to it. As you guys know, today I covered the solutions on how social media platforms can have a negative effect on your child. As a parent, it is our responsibility to really lead our children to very lead our children to success. Exposing them to social media platforms that are highly addictive, have harmful content, could really affect your child's mental health. Which is why, as a parent, you should really help. You should really limit that restriction. You should really restrict them from using social media platforms, or even take them off at all. Thank you.